There's a prominent theme that comes along with the journey of computer science, and this one is miserable, just like how sick I am, but that's not the point. The point here is that there is a wonderful, really just amazing part of your journey of coding, and it's not the part where you learn how to make awesome projects. It's the part where you open up your terminal editor or whatever you use and you just don't know what to make. Now you might attribute this to your ignorance, or you might attribute this to the fact how you've basically been scammed by computer science. Now how in the world does this happen? Well, let's just cut straight to the chase. Tutorial hell is this phenomenon where you can't do anything outside of what you've learned in the tutorial, which completely separates the actual concepts of learning from just basic memorization. If no one's ever told you to not memorize things, then you need to surround yourself with better people, to be honest with you. It is a criminal mistake that I used to make back in my past when I was a good 12-year-old kid just coding. I thought, hey, maybe I can learn a language like C++ by just memorizing everything. Now, my friend, let's take a good look at C++ and try to see how many pages of documentation there are to take in. C++ documentation. All right, I don't even want to know how much is on this website. So if we go over, let's do the math on this real quick. It is well over 4,000. Okay, those are like articles. Those are like miniature things. Yeah, guys, it just makes so much sense to know how to do every single one of these, right? It just knows it. Yeah, of course. Only a fool would desire complexity, and this is something that took me a while to learn, and it just easily it's a one-to-one relationship with tutorial hell. It's very frustrating as well because there's no one out there who's going to go up to you and shake your hand and be like, yo dude, this right here, this is how you get cracked at coding. There's no other way. This. And if you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm, because that is anything but the truth. No one can tell you how to code, and there is one crucial thing that is missing from your workflow that you must just employ. Just give it one shot, and that is to stop being a baby. Yes, that's right. You need to stop being impatient. You need to grow up, and you need to just treat it like going to the gym. Coding is not some magical thing, and you'll learn this months in, and that is the blunt truth. But listen, sometimes the blunt things are 100% honest. I've never heard someone say something bad and not have 100% honesty in it. People would tell you pretty lies, will never be 100% certain. I'm here to tell you the 100% truth. But still, I love you. Like and subscribe because I love you. It's a nice relationship we have here. To elaborate on this, tutorial hell can yield some fairly annoying people. Why'd I get signed out? Did I get banned on Twitter when I'm trying to record? Oh, I spelled my username wrong. And they put me on light mode? Oh my god. See, that right there is the direct result of tutorial hell, right? They couldn't even switch my mode back to what I wanted it to be. Display, lights out. Let's take a good trip over to Startup Club. We have a bunch of our fellow peers here being like, yo, dude, AI is the way for everything. That is the easiest way to just completely omit learning out of your whole entire process. The more reliant people become on AI, the more easily you are stuck in tutorial hell. It is just a different font. Now, this is a more new and modern approach, or rather angle of this phenomenon. Listen, it is essentially the same. Tutorial hell is going to be more prominent than ever, but it is in a different term now, because it's not tutorial hell. It's more like AI hell. Now, we've been watching this long enough. Now, what am I supposed to do? What is poor me, Max and Tech subscriber, right, supposed to do in this situation? This is a serious query right now. Quarrel, quandary, whatever you want to call it. Well, don't worry, because in my gracious notepad right below, I have taken down some notes that I believe you can put to use in this case. Tutorial hell. AI generating intimidating code and bringing up the question of usefulness. I've discussed this many times. If you are coding, you are going to feel like an idiot most of the time because, oh, AI can just look at my code and correct it. That is a given. But this is not even why you really learn coding anymore. It's a different field. You learn to just understand so that maybe you can implement some proper systems with AI assistance. That's kind of the hot take, but I think it's the most relative take, and anything that's not that is typically just super niche. Competition. You look over and you see Billy here from Russia, 10 years old, being completely cracked on code forces and LeetCode, and he makes you look like a loser. You're supposed to be mom and dad's gracious, amazing coder who's supposed to get any job he wants, but Billy over here from Russia knows how to get any job you want, and he's 10. And I think we all know about this one. Ridiculously long courses that are purely designed for your money and to restrict your freedom. The restricted freedom is more of a side effect in this case because, listen, if you are spending 100 hours with one person, one-on-one, you are sitting in the same space, you are completely just absorbing one person's intellect, how can you actually sit there and have your own sense of freedom and intelligence? Everything you do is someone else's shadow. Now, this is kind of a contradictory statement because technically everything you learn is from someone, but one source, you are someone's shadow. Now, some people can do it, but most people can't. And the last two are just poor resources because there's a lot of bad stuff out there. I've seen the most silly tutorials in my life, and they're supposed to be helping people out, but they're just teaching not good patterns. So like I said, if you use AI in the right way, I promise you can end up just getting your way through this. But let's cut to the actual part. What are you supposed to do? And the first thing you can do that's not even related to any of this is just read books, because you're doing a similar act whenever you learn how to code as you are when you're reading, and that would just be expanding what you know. You pick up some historical fiction book and you just learn something because, you know, there's some facts embedded in there that you haven't seen before. The same thing applies with any language that you want to learn or project. You might even know all the concepts into a language, but you actually need to apply them in a realistic scenario. That would be like reading a new book, because you understand how to, you know English, right? You know what a period is, you know what a comma is, you know what a semicolon is, but do you know what a story that, you know, completely immerses into a new part that you've never seen in history? That's different, and it teaches you the structure of those things. There's like a layer on top of the abstract English that we know. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm kind of doing some max syntax philosophy right now. And the one thing that we all know, everyone collectively agrees, project-driven development. Everything I do is a project. For example, I go to BSC, the best app ever. No one can replace it. My little baby. I know, AI chat. I am making a connectivity tracker. And if we notice, there's a lot of things here. These are all projects, some of which I've had AI help me on. That's just blunt honesty. I tried implementing something fully from scratch. This is a database file that I tried implementing fully from scratch. Okay? I asked AI to point out some things that could be better, and I observed them, and I tried my best to understand the use case of them. And all it ended up making me do was just read documentation and build on my own understanding. Now, how does this apply to the tutorial hell factor? If I just put this in AI, hey, make me this, who am I going to be telling what part of my code is causing the errors? If my database wipes, because this is a database file, if something wipes, who am I to know anymore? Because I tried writing this from scratch and I had AI polish it up, mainly because it can write things that are pretty annoying. This is really me sounding lazy, but for the record, everything else that I've written here, it's pretty obvious that I wrote it. There's just more to be made from just raw dogging things. Raw dog stuff. Raw dog your codes. That is normal. That is how you're supposed to code. The most prominent minds don't seem to exist anymore because there is a lack of prominence. Is that even a word? I don't know. But like, if I close my eyes right now, I'll tell you, I'm not looking. SQLite has a driver on Golang, and you import. I know what that means. That is the structure. I don't need to type out any code to understand that. That is the actual basis behind my program. Now, hopefully that makes sense. The last of these things I have to say are really just motivationally based. Hey dude, be strong. Be a good guy. Don't B word out. Don't P word out. Write your program with the fullest intent possible. Solve those tough problems. Let yourself get smacked in the face. Let the stupid answer make you feel like garbage. But I say, realistically speaking, learning something from scratch does not ever entail you to just use AI the whole time. Whenever I learn something from scratch, I avoid AI as much as I can, because when your brain has a fresh plate, a fresh palette, the worst thing you can do is splatter someone else's paint on there. You gotta start painting your own image on the little canvas in front of you, and even if it doesn't make sense, that is working with your brain. You're not adapting to someone else's data set / mind. Anyway, that was a kind of a very philosophical video. Good God. But thanks so much for watching. I almost said towards to hell. No, tutorial hell.